That's what happened, though.
Wow.
How do you feel about the Black Lives Matter versus the All Lives Matter?
I think everybody knows all lives matter.
You would hope, but
I don't think that I think all lives matter is for white people who are afraid that if Black lives matter, their lives matter less.
You think so?
Yeah.
What about Hispanic Lives Matter?
I guess I'm fine with that too.
Is that a thing yet?
No, it's not a thing. My point is that when they say all lives, I don't assume it's just white people. Do you?
No. But I assume that if somebody posts something with hashtag all lives matter, that it's
What if it's a black person?
It's a
posting
rich
all lives
white.
matter? I've seen it happen. I know people who do it.
Yeah.
Then what?
Then I still assume that they're retarded. Because I assume everyone knows all lives matter. And then just because we're making a point about how Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives Matter is not about. Because the other thing is that.
Like you say that, but.
But people who post all lives matter stuff usually also comment on black crime. They're like, well, you guys gotta stop the black people from killing each other before we have to worry about white people killing them. No, but they're not worried about black people dying individually.
I think that's a sweeping generalization that you're making about those people.
That's fair.
That's what they
And I am, and I'm making it.
Okay.
Yes.
This is getting added in.
That's fair. I don't care. So
This is our content.
I think that usually it's about those people are like they feel threatened by Black Lives Matter, but Black Lives Matter is supposed to be about like the police are killing black people and nobody cares about that. Nobody's stopping that. Nobody's questioning why that happens. You know what I mean? And that's what it's really about. It's not about like stopping black on black. It's about stopping the police from killing black people.
And not
willy-nilly.
Or Mexicans. Or Asians.
Well, specifically black people, because specifically it's a larger problem, I believe. Like, I don't know about Mexicans and Asians, whatever.
Yeah, because our lives don't matter.
Like, other
our lives don't fucking matter to you. That's
what.
I don't hear about it. Racist.
Okay, that's fair.
And with that, welcome to RSG Podcast, episode 67, where we just had our little bit about the Black Lives Matter versus All Lives Matter movement.
Right.
Which is some pretty strong opinions.
I don't know. It's really just
it's just Connor trolling. He's just gonna like come up with whatever reason to like, whatever I said was wrong. He doesn't care. It doesn't. He agrees with me. I think
that's what I do.
But he's just gonna say retarded shit now.
You start off
penguins.
You start off.
Lives matter.
You start off
the dog lives matter.
No, you started off with a question, so you know where he stands, and then you just take the opposite stance and argue. Right. That's all it really is.
I forgot to record all that, so like we're not doing an audio version of this episode.
Oh, okay.
I knew, like the minute you asked, I knew that's what's happening. And I'm like, fuck it, let's do it
anyway.
Let's go.
Yeah. Anyway.
But we don't really have a whole lot to talk about tonight.
For the holiday week, it's been pretty slow.
Yeah, we were supposed to watch Jessica Jones, but 2 of the 3 decided to play FO4 anyway, and not. You can guess who those 2 are. Yeah. So one person, you finished it, right?
Yep, I'm done with it.
So he's eager to talk to us about it, and he's pissed that we haven't watched it.
I've got all the way through episode 1. All the way through.
I guess we can discuss it
multiple times, actually.
We can discuss a little bit then.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah.
Because one thing I want to talk about specifically is the character Hogarth, played by Carrie-Anne Moss.
Okay.
Hogarth is her last name. I don't know what her first name is now, because Jessica just refers to her as Hogarth.
Hogarth all the time, yeah.
Yeah, because that's her last name. Now, in the comic books, Hogarth is a dude. In Jessica Jones, the TV show, Hogarth is played by Carrie-Anne Moss, who is not a dude.
Wait, really?
Yes, really. And I thought that it was interesting in that they gender flipped the character without really. They did a good job of gender flipping it without really changing the character at all. You know what I mean?
I think it's fair.
Like, I think lots of times when they gender flip somebody to a female character, it feels jammed in, and they do like female-y things specifically to make them different or whatever. I feel like in this one they did not change the character of Hogarth at all. I feel like they did a great job of like just making her a girl, but making her still the sleazy shark lawyer that she was in the books.
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a good. One thing I really loved about it
both professionally and in her personal life.
Right, and that's one thing I really loved about it was that like they gender flipped her, and you couldn't tell the difference between them. in reality. They were the same character.
It's one of these. It's an interesting thing because in retrospect, it's like when you look back on it, you're like, oh yeah, they did. That was a dude. Like, it's not something I even noticed.
Yeah.
Until like later on, not that Carrie-Anne Moss is. It's not that I didn't notice that she was a female,
right.
But that
it's
like
hard not to notice
the
that.
character, the character was just exactly who I thought the character was.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't think about like, oh yeah, that was a dude. That was like, you know, there was no, they played it exactly how they should. I don't know if it's I hesitate to say cool because it is how it should always be.
Agreed, but it's not how it always is.
It isn't.
It's unfortunate.
I think it's a good example of how it should be and how it should be done in the future. Like, because it didn't feel like a forced gender flip. It felt like they just like, Carrie-Anne Moss can do this role really well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. And she does. I think she does a great job as Hogarth.
Well, she does a great job. I mean,
Love her
anybody who
as
can
Hogarth.
convince me that she likes Neo
Not just likes and dies for it.
dies for him, yeah. You know.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. Although I hear Keanu's a really cool dude, so...
That's what I hear, too.
That's what I hear.
That's why I said Neo.
Yeah. Neo's a douche.
Neo's a
Everyone knows
douche.
that. So...
Keanu might be cool.
Right.
I'm not finishing that.
But also, I love the fact that in this one, they just make it clear again that the people who do the Marvel Netflix series know how to do supporting characters right.
Really well.
Which is
The supporting characters in this, like in Daredevil, that was one of the things that made Daredevil so great, I think, was Foggy, it was Karen, it was Ben, it was
You cared about them.
You cared about all of the extra characters who were in there. And in this series, played out the same way. The supporting characters are really good. They're really in, like, people with depth. They're not just generic tropes or whatever.
Well, and they do the job of being a support character better than anything else I've seen. Where, like, they are truly supporting the character. They're truly, like, making the main character story that much more interesting because of their existence. Like, if it was just Daredevil by himself, it wouldn't have been very good.
Yeah.
I feel like that could have been a video game and been done with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
So.
But, yeah, so this was, and this is so far paying out the same way. Like I said, I've only watched the first episode. I think they introduced Luke Cage in the perfect way in this. This is exactly pretty much like how it should be done.
Yeah.
According to the comic books.
Wow, the guy they cast for Luke Cage too, fucking perfect.
He's Luke Cage.
Fucking perfect.
That dude is Luke Cage.
Fucking perfect. Like,
I was watching with Kaylee and she's like, the entire time. I'm like, I know, right?
Yeah, he's a great Luke Cage.
Yeah, he is.
He doesn't ever wear that yellow shirt, but
That's too bad.
no.
I want to see just
it's for the better.
I want to see just one Marvel superhero or enhanced or special, whatever they have to call him now. I just want to see one of them wearing like the traditional
dressed up in like
1980s
comic book or whatever.
Yeah, I just want to see
Jessica
it.
Jones is like a comic book character.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
She doesn't dress up like Jewel ever, but she does. But
Well, the whole point is that she's not Jewel anymore.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. She's not Jewel anymore.
And you get some of that backstory.
Yeah, just a little bit in the first episode.
Yeah.
But
well,
it was
you get it more as you go along.
You do, yeah, I'm sure you do. But I think what they gave you in the first episode is really it's pulling you in. Like, I want to watch more because it's all about like this really interesting bad guy and.
Dude, David Tennant as Kilgrave, at least as good as D'Onofrio.
I haven't actually seen him yet, other than like the
on the same level as D'Onofrio,
I'm
and I think that's another thing that makes the Marvel Netflix series good. Is they have good, interesting villains. Now, Kilgrave doesn't have the same motivations that D'Onofrio has, because you sort of feel for D'Onofrio's Kingpin's motivations. You sort of like he wants to make things better, but with his ultimate control, and that's not okay.
What I liked about Kilgrave, from the comic book series, and I'm assuming in the series, in the series as well, is that he's a dude who's bad not because he is a bad person. No, he's just a bad guy.
He's a bad person.
But a lot of it comes from like his power and what his power can do.
Yeah.
And how that could turn anybody into what he is. Like, and that's really
and
cool.
that's covered in the series.
Yeah.
You know, and that you find that out or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's really good.
awesome. Well, I've always been a huge fan of David Tennant. Like, I first was introduced to him as one of the doctors, and I thought, this guy's pretty good.
I'm judging
But
you right now.
I know.
That's how you were first introduced to him?
As a doctor?
Yeah.
Only by hearing of him as a doctor.
Yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
Well, he did a good job.
Ryan
with
watched the
Doctor.
TV show, though.
I've-
That's why I'm judging him.
I've watched every episode.
Because he
of
watches
Who.
Doctor Who. That's why I'm judging him.
I'm a Whovian. Anyway,
Don't say that.
I thought it was it's a
Hoovian,
right?
It's Hoover, bro. You're a Hoover.
A Hoover? You just
Hoovian.
A Hoover.
Hoovian.
Because it sucks. That's why they're Hoovers.
But I also liked him in Broadchurch, which was another British TV show. I don't know if you ever saw that one.
I've never seen Broadchurch.
It's actually really good. He plays like this beat up, old, wanting to retire but can't retire with issues detective, and they send him out to this nowhere area so basically he can just retire in peace.
Right.
And there happens to be a case going on there. And it's really good. It's like a little mini series. And
check it out.
Yeah. So I'm excited to be with him in the series. Yeah, it'd be good.
It's really good. I really enjoy it. You actually put down Fallout 4 for just a little bit. Just a couple hours a night. I'll watch it.
I'm not done with it yet.
Yeah. I'm only 80 hours into it. I'm not done yet.
You'll never be done. That's the point.
I know.
It'll still be waiting though, just like
it took
it is now.
50 of the little episode, or like 50 little like reoccurring things where you got to go to this settlement for this mission, and then be like, oh, they got me in that loop. They got me in that reoccurring loop. This shit's never ending.
Right. It's never gonna stop, bro.
So then I had to move on with the main storyline. So I'll be done with it probably by the end of the week.
Watch Jessica Jones.
Okay.
Just watch all of it. Because next week we're doing spoilers regardless. I'm just going on.
Well, I think he's doing a pretty good job of going over it now without really spoiling. Like, I still don't know what's going on, who does what and what.
Well, I mean, we've only talked about the first episode, which there isn't. You get a lot of very interesting tidbits of her backstory, like up front in the first episode.
I did catch one part of one of the episodes where it had, I can't never think of her name, but she was the nurse that helped Daredevil out.
Rosario Dawson.
Yes. Rosario Dawson, thank you.
Is she the same character in this?
She's not in this.
She's in Jessica Jones.
Spoilers, bro.
Spoilers.
She's in Jessica Jones.
Wait, as Daredevil's character?
As the same nurse who knows Daredevil.
Okay, cool. All right.
That's
not really a spoiler. That's fine.
Well, that doesn't happen until episode 13.
Oh shit!
The last episode. But that's sort of how they tied the whole Daredevil thing in. No, it's 12. She shows up in 12.
Well, you knew that was going to happen. I mean,
yeah, but that's sort of how they tie Daredevil into the whole series or whatever. Like they do again the mentions of like the alien attacks and all that kind of stuff. And stuff, and it's starting to come to light. What I really love is that, like, throughout the series, it comes to light, and this is not spoiled, it's not really important. But in the background, there's people who they don't like special people. They don't like people who have powers, and that's sort of that whole sort of like feeling, that public resentment feeling, is building up in New York, especially because like the power people don't always clean up their messes, and they make a big mess, and it's not always better for individual people afterwards or whatever. So, and all that sort of like building up towards Civil War as well. So you're starting to see that like public resentment building up in Jessica Jones, even that like will build towards and become Civil War.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, it makes sense, and it also makes sense from the standpoint that they are replacing mutants with the Inhumans.
Yeah.
With the Inhumans.
Yeah.
The humans are becoming the new mutants. So.
Yeah. Well, now obviously we know Luke Cage is in this, right?
Yeah. So
they find out in a fight that both of them have superpowers, and so they sit down and have a discussion about it, right? And so they ask her like, "How'd you get yours?" He's like, "Oh, I'm an experiment. Oh, I was an accident." Or whatever, like everyone's got like the generic trope backstory. Like, oh, got it.
That's
accident.
cool that they go.
I know, that's cool, right?
Well, it's interesting. I've been reading a lot of superhero novels about superheroes and stuff like that lately from a number of different authors, and that is like
a burn.
Sorry, continue.
That's just a running thing. It's becoming something that's, that they always talk about, like, they have this, like, generic, like, talk about, like, oh, how'd you get your powers? Oh, how'd you get your powers?
Right.
Like, this, like, kind of a nod to, like, yes, there is a backstory. No, it's not that important.
Right, it's not that important.
Yeah.
In the end, it's not that important.
Yeah.
So.
It makes a cool, like, 2-issue comic book series, and then sells a bunch, and then it's over.
Yeah, but then, like I said, like, watch Jessica Jones. It's really good. The storyline develops up. It's a very personal story. Like, Daredevil's a much smaller story than the Avengers is, in reality. And Jessica Jones takes it down a notch further.
Even smaller.
Even further, yeah. And then I'll be interested to see what you guys think of Jessica Jones as a character.
Okay.
As you watch it.
I wish
we'll find that out probably February, when you guys watch it.
I wish that Marvel... didn't feel the need to, like, not mention these characters in the movie. I understand why they do it. I just don't like it. I'm like, I wish that they would, like, put the characters from the TV shows in here. Other than
Kristen Ritter said that she did have a contract signed that if the movies asked for her character to appear, that she would do so. That's part of her contract for Marvel with Netflix.
Interesting.
So I wonder if they're all that way.
There's a possibility that you might see them held up or
kind of cool
for
to
certain
see
things or
Daredevil
whatever.
in one of them.
Yeah.
Like make an appearance in Civil War or something.
It'd be cool to see like Jessica Jones and Daredevil make an appearance in Civil War.
Yeah. Speaking of Civil War,
yes,
the trailer just came out for that.
Yes, it did. Earlier this week.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I'm a little curious though because I feel like the whole Civil War is taking place around the fact that they're trying to protect Bucky.
Yeah. Well,
This is just a trailer.
Well, it sounded like
this is what it's given us.
Yeah, what I've taken from the trailer is that like something happened, and
you
hear
see
Bucky say,
"Do you see the agreement that Thunderbolt Ross had?"
No.
That's called the Sokovia Accords.
I know what the Sokovia Accords are.
Right. So that the whole thing is like is based around what happened in Sokovia. So it happened in Avengers: Age of Ultron. That's happening there. But the conflict is really fueled by them wanting to bring Bucky in and punish him under the Sokovia Accords. And Captain America being like, nah, bro. He was mind controlled. He wasn't in control of himself or whatever. And then being like, doesn't matter. He's a superpower. He's got to be punished or whatever.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. And that's what sort of sparks the real animosity between the two of them.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's over Bucky, which is interesting because that's a pretty big... It's a pretty big change.
Yeah, but I think it's better because since they chose to do it not as an Avengers movie but as a Captain America movie, I think it's good because it keeps it about Captain America and his involvement with Bucky, like that. So it keeps it focused on Captain America and not on the Avengers as a whole. Like obviously everybody shows up, right? Except for the Hulk, who we know is not showing up.
Because he's in Ragnarok.
Right. Him and Thor are going to hang out someplace else. But obviously everybody else shows up and they're there, but it's not about them. And it's not about the Avengers as a team. It's about Captain America and his personal struggle with these issues. Or whatever. And so I've been reading some comments online where people were like, well, I'm surprised that Iron Man is pro-registration and that Captain America is so not, or whatever.
Captain America is the original libertarian.
The size should be flipped or whatever. And I'm like, no, they've been developing the characters since the first Avengers movie, and in their individual movies, this were like Tony's sort of coming to a realization that like he needs to have a check on his powers because he will do things that end up very bad for everyone.
Because he's
like creating Ultron
every single time.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he knows that. He
that.
feels like he's learning his own limitations, and that he needs to have this check on his power, and that someone else to check him and keep him in line. And Captain America is sort of coming to the point where he realizes that like he can't trust the government, the government of the USA to do the right thing all the time. He has to trust his own moral compass more than anything else.
Yeah.
And that's what brings the two into conflict in reality.
Yeah. No, it makes
complete
sense.
It takes it back to the original idea of the Civil War, which was the registration.
Well, that's what's going to be going on here as well. So
they're not going too far away from it, but
right.
Interesting. I can see your concern though. About Bucky.
I think it's better, and for the Marvel universe, I think it's better than the original catalyst for the Civil War.
For the MCU, you mean?
Yeah.
I agree, and I think the reason why I think it's going to be better in the end is mostly because, number one, it is a Captain America movie. It's not an Avengers movie. Number two, they cannot bring in enough characters to come anywhere close to what the comics original vision was.
Having it as one team versus another team just makes more sense. Yeah.
Well, that's basically what it was, but the teams were huge. I mean, they're basically armies of superheroes on one side or the other. And it was just too many people, it was too many moving parts, and it would be too confusing. And this way you can limit that quite a bit and still have a compelling story that will be divisive for the hero community. So.
Yep. Well, I think you put your two biggest stars, Reality 2, against each other.
Yeah.
In this one.
Yeah.
Because RDJ is the MCU.
Yeah.
He's the basis for all of it.
Yeah.
He's the biggest star.
Yeah.
He was the
and
first.
Chris Pine's right after that, I think.
Yeah.
In reality.
I would agree.
So,
Now, Chris Pines is coming up on the end of his Marvel years, isn't he?
He's coming to the end of his contract.
Yeah.
Because rumor is, my belief is that Chris Pine going to be deed.
He's going to die at the end of
Civil War.
And then Bucky picks up the shield.
Bucky will become the new Captain America.
Interesting thought.
That's how it happens in the comics, pretty much.
Interesting thought.
So, but in reality, the story of Captain America happens shortly after Civil War. So
it could just kind of
becomes part of it, right? It becomes like it's a lead out from Civil War, leads into Death of Captain America and Bucky taking over as Captain America. So, will they do it in this movie? I don't know. It's possible. So let's talk about some shots from the trailer. We get to see Black Panther for the first time.
Yeah.
No introduction. Dude just shows up standing there all badass and shit. Like, what's
his
up?
costume looks really cool too.
What's up?
He looks real good. He actually looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
A lot more Falcon love in this one.
Yep, Falcon's back a lot. I love Falcon being like, dude, are we sure we have to do this?
Yeah.
Because when people shoot at you, they shoot at me too, and I don't want to get shot at. If I don't gotta get shot at, let's not do that. You know? Let's see if we can find something else or whatever. And Cap's like, nah, bro, we gotta get shot at. So yeah, Falcon's back a lot. We're gonna have 3 black superheroes in this movie.
Whew. They're gonna die.
It looks like one of them.
It looks like War Machine might go.
Yeah.
Because you see a scene where like Iron Man's like over what looks like a broken ass War Machine. So, we'll see. And Black Panther shows up, and you see him kicking Bucky, but we don't see for sure what side he's on. No, I thought that he was going to be on Captain America's side.
That's what I thought.
No, I thought he was on...
Is he on Pro Registration side?
Yeah, I think he was on Pro Registration side, if I remember correctly. He was definitely in the comics, but I'm pretty sure he was on that for the list that we came up with the other day. Anyways.
But yeah, he looks good. Captain America looks good. These scenes of Bucky look good. The trailer ends on a touching moment where
he's on Iron Man's side.
Yeah. Which brings like an interesting, like, this is more than just about America element to it, right? Because he is not American.
No.
He's sort of like the Marvel Universe's version of Batman, kind of, in some ways. Why don't you,
Annoying.
So, someone we didn't see was the Vision.
We didn't see Vision. We don't see Ant-Man.
We don't see Ant-Man.
And we don't see Spider-Man.
But we know they're there.
We know they're going to be in the movie, but we don't see them anywhere.
Oh, Spider-Man's going to be in this?
Spider-Man, this is going to be Spider-Man's introduction to the MCU.
That's right. It looks like we're getting, Black Panther introduction at the same time, which is interesting to do it this way. And part of me goes, okay, I know who Black Panther is. I don't need an opening movie for him.
Right.
Myself. But they are doing one for him, aren't they?
Yes, my understanding is that he will have a movie. I don't know for sure when he's on the schedule, but
it's just interesting.
I know that there's going to be one.
That they're introducing him so suddenly like that.
I'm trying to remember now who they cast as Black Panther.
Oh, there he is. Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
I was like, I know he's around here somewhere.
Yeah, he's on Team Captain. Team Cap.
Now, who's this girl that's on Team Captain's team again?
That is Sharon Carter.
Yeah, Agent Carter.
Agent
Carter's
granddaughter.
Yeah.
Makes sense. She's on
she was the one because she was in the last Captain America movie too. Mm-hmm. She's the one that spied on him or whatever, and like she wouldn't turn on Cap at the end, like when they were having like the Crossbones guy. Because if you look close, you can see a guy who appears to be Crossbones in the trailer.
Oh really?
Yeah, there's a guy who like when Cap is fighting some mercenaries or whatever, they're coming after Cap. You can see a guy standing in the background, giving orders, who has like the Crossbones on his uniform or whatever. So could be Crossbones.
Well, isn't that the guy that's got like the skull mask too?
Yeah.
Well, they already released a photo of him, so we know he's there.
Yeah, but I'm saying like, we don't see him.
Oh, right. We
ostensibly don't see him in the trailer. Also, Baron Zemo, supposed to be in this movie. He's been cast on the cast list. We don't see any Baron Zemo.
Fascinating.
All right.
We'll just have to wait for
at this point, it's starting to look real full.
Yeah.
Real full. Because we got to bring in Black Panther. He's got to be given some time. you got to give my guess is Spider-Man. You'll see very short glimpse of Spider-Man. You know what I mean? Because all we really need to do is say like, yes, he exists in our universe, and then they'll do another Spider-Man movie with Sony, where they team up, where they get together, people at Marvel, people at Sony get together and make a good movie, not a shitty movie like we had before.
Almost all of them.
Yes. Pretty much all the Spider-Man movies have been bad. Spider-Man, the original trilogy, Spider-Man 2, was pretty good with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, I like that one.
They had to make a third one.
The rest of them, not good. I don't think any of the Andrew Garfield ones were good.
I was okay with the Elizabeth. It wasn't good. And then they made just bad. Bad.
Yes, the second one was horrible. The first one was okay. But I don't think it was anything great. Like, Emma Stone was the only good thing about both of those movies. So.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Yes, moving on.
We watched another trailer that just recently came out.
Yes.
About a very, I would say, a pretty well-known book series amongst fantasy fans.
Yeah.
And that's this sort of, well, you're not a fantasy fan person, obviously. Then you might think you.
I am more sci-fi.
It's not in Fallout. It's not in Fallout 4, so you probably don't know about it.
But it's
oddly enough, there's no good books about. But anyway,
the author's name is Terry Brooks, and he does the Sword of Shannara. Was the first book he wrote, but it's the Shannara series.
Yeah, he wrote a whole series of books about Shannara.
A lot of them, yeah. But the Sword of Shannara was really good.
Sword of Shannara was a good story.
I think I read it when I was like 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and reread because this series that we're talking about it's called Chronicles of Shannara, and it's being produced by MTV Studios or for MTV Studios. And which is shown on MTV.
That's weird. That's weird.
It's weird. I think fantasy is more popular on TV now than it ever has been.
Because of Game of Thrones.
Because of Game of Thrones and other things like that. And so I think MTV is like, we got to get in on this shit. We got to capitalize while we can. So
otherwise they're completely gone, which is not a bad thing.
Right. So they need something they can use to capitalize on this fantasy setting. And so they picked.
It's just strange though.
But Shannara is like basically perfect for it, right?
Is it for MTV?
It's Shannara. It's perfect for their demographic because the heroes, almost all the heroes in all the Shannara books, other than Al-Anon, are teenagers.
Okay.
So it gives them the perfect opportunity for them to have like that teen.
Well, that was not spelled at all what I expected it to be spelled like, because it was supposed to be like Elvish and they like A's and H's. And...
Nope. No, the thing is though is that whole like the teen high fantasy high sci-fi is very popular right now.
Yeah.
I mean it's that's mostly due to Game of Thrones, not Game of Thrones, but Hunger Games.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games came along, and then you got Hunger Games that was really popular. You had
like the Divergent
series and the Maze Runner series.
I didn't even know they were doing those until I'm like, oh, what's this trailer for? Oh, it's one of those, and then I see Divergent, and I'm like, I'm out of it.
I'm out.
Well, you know, the actual like baseline story for a lot of those is interesting. The backdrop, the plot, is kind of interesting, but sometimes it's not always executed correctly.
Right. Or well.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But I don't know, I'm torn. Because I want to be excited about it, because the Shannara series was also something I kind of enjoyed. And this is supposed to be based off the Elfstones of Shannara, which is the second book in the series. Not the first book, but the second book in the series.
Which is weird that they're doing that, but I guess...
well, the books could basically be standalone books for the most part.
Almost all, yeah.
You don't have to
just
they're all separate stories, basically.
Yeah, they pretty much are.
So,
other than the fact that Al-Anon shows up in every single book.
Al-Anon's in every one of them. So.
You know, but they're done.
And I think the cast for Al-Anon is strong.
I like him.
Manu Bennett, I think he's a good guy. Like,
I like him.
He was Slade Wilson in Arrow, and that's the only thing I really remember him from. You said he was in something else.
He was in Spartacus.
Yeah, Spartacus as well.
Whose name I can't remember.
It's Latin-y.
Yeah.
It's some sort of Latinist name of some sort. It ends in an us, I'm sure.
Probably.
So, but I think he's a good cast for Al-Anon, but I don't.
Well, he's an unmitigated badass.
Yeah.
From what I hear in every book.
Slade Wilson, every book. Even after he's dead, the shade of Al-Anon comes back and is the unmitigated badass in every book. So it doesn't matter, dead or not. Doesn't matter.
Spoilers, he dies.
Not in Elfstones. So don't worry about it. He'll be around for a while.
Spoiler, he doesn't die.
Whoa, bro. Spoil this.
Well, I know what happened in the books. I don't know what happens in the Chronicles of Shannara.
Yeah, this is
on the books.
MTV's thing, so he could very well die at the end of it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
So, I want to be excited for it, and like I said, with the trailer, the visuals look pretty good.
Your visuals look pretty good.
I know. But the visuals look interesting, and the story looks like it won't be too bad, but with how much like teen angsty stuff they throw into it, which, I mean, that's always been part of the Shannara series.
I was saying,
That's always been part of the Shannara series, because all the characters, like all the main characters are basically teenagers at that like cusp of becoming adults that are going through that angsty phase of their life.
There was
it's
a
always
time
been part of the Shannara world.
when I was reading different fantasy books, Shannara and a few of the others. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but it seemed like every book I read, the protagonist got younger and younger until I read one of the Xanth series novels, where the protagonist was 9 years old. I was like, what is going on here? It was actually really good, a really good book.
All of Xanth. I would love to see a Xanth movie.
That would be so hard to do. That'd be tough.
It would be a lot of CGI, and I don't know if they could afford the budget to do it right.
It would be a
Especially
lot
for
of
the first movie of it.
Yeah. Well, it would be a lot of CGI, and the Xanth series is very, very well known for its comedy as well as its high fantasy feel.
It's a very tongue-in-cheek high fantasy, because they live in the magical land of Xanth, which is basically Florida.
Okay.
And the rest of the U.S. is Mundania.
It's Mundania, basically, yeah. So, and so everyone
suck living in Florida.
Yeah, but everyone in Xanth has a magic talent.
Oh.
And everything in Xanth is basically a pun. So
an eggplant is actually a plant.
It's actually a plant that grows eggs.
Yeah.
And so you go pick the eggs off the eggplant. Right?
That's kind of funny.
Yeah. So all kinds of puns and stuff throughout the whole thing. So it would be hard to do, I think.
Yeah.
But like just doing like the first 3 books.
I'd be down for that.
Like the base.
I think the characters for Bink and Chameleon are fascinating characters.
Right. And the evil magician, what's his name? Trent? Evil magician Trent, or whatever, who wants to come back from Mundania or whatever, become king or whatever. Also a good character.
Yeah, really.
Because again, you have a built-in villain with good, interesting character and like good motivations that are understandable.
Well, I think also Chameleon's character has even more like interesting facets nowadays.
Yes.
Because of the, I guess the hot button topic that is like, sexism and objectivity and things of that sort.
Yeah.
So, but I don't want to say too much, I guess.
You've never read the books, right, Ryan? No. God. Pick up a book. Okay? Just look. Sometimes
does it come in audio form?
Book.
It does.
Sure, it does.
The first time I listened, it was all entirely in audio form.
Well, Chameleon has a tower where, like, through her monthly cycle, okay? She has a monthly cycle where she gets uglier but smarter.
So she's like, when she's super ugly, she's super smart. But then she starts
getting prettier, but
she
gets stupider, and she gets prettier.
Yeah.
And then back and forth, so that's like her cycles of like her moon cycle or whatever is like that. Makes her ugly and smart, and pretty and dumb.
And that's her magical talent. And sometimes magical talents are super powerful, and sometimes they're really silly. Like when a dude can change the color of his pee.
Right.
That's his
magical talent.
Yeah.
And so when you come of age, you have to show your magical talent or get out, or they kick you out because you're a mundane. And the story starts off with Bink, who doesn't have a visible magical talent, and they're kicking him out. And it's his like travels across, like trying to get out of.
But he does have a magical talent.
You'll have to listen to the books.
You have to listen to the books. They're really good.
They're really good.
They're really good.
I would like to see like a Xanth series. I think
they are like a Xanth Netflix series might be even better.
I think that'd be better. Yeah.
Because you could bring all the good characters into it.
Like the whole first book could be like season 1 easy. I think.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty awesome, and I would love to watch it.
Yeah.
So
somebody get on that.
Xanth series, please.
Yes. So the Shannara series comes out January 5th. I will give it a couple episodes try at least. See how bad it gets or whatever.
it's episodic?
See. Yeah, it's episodes. Not a movie, it's episodes.
It's not a movie, that's weird.
Yeah, it'll be episodes that air on MTV. Like hour-long episodes, probably. I don't know for sure how many of them.
Why didn't Netflix do this?
Because MTV did it first.
It looks really high budget for it to be a series.
That's what I'm saying. It's really high budget. But
see, I thought it was a movie, but now that I know it's a series, that is a
series.
lot of money. They better make money off of this.
Yeah.
They don't. That's a lot of money they just
yeah
use because it looks really high budget.
Yeah.
Like movie level budget.
Speaking of something else that Netflix needs to get on, since they ruined Rogue One already by making it about spies, Netflix needs to hop on the real Rogue One storyline, which is make a series about Wedge and Biggs in the Imperial Academy and how they get trained to become pilots and then go to the rebel side. You can end the series at the battle of the first Death Star with the climactic battle where Biggs gets killed after Wedge bails and he feels all bad about it or whatever.
You can't put that scene in there. You can't. You can't put that scene in there. It was in the movies. You can't. There's no way you can put it in there.
That's fair, I suppose.
It's just gonna be weird.
Just play footage from the original Wedge. just switch to the original Wedge.
That's weird. The original Biggs looks a little different before he blows up.
Before he blows up, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like you said, they could just stop it when they're heading off to the
Right,
battle.
just stop it when they head off to Yavin or whatever. To join the rebel forces at Yavin.
I'm okay with that. Just you can't do the battle though.
You can't do it. You're probably right. You can't.
You can't do the
battle. You can head up right up to the edge of the battle, or whatever, and then everyone knows what happened to the battle.
Yeah.
If you don't, then movies, watch them.
Yeah.
Spoiler to the end of this series: Biggs dies.
No, Biggs. Jack Porkins also dies. Just saying.
Yeah, but who cares about Jack Porkins?
Speaking of Star Wars, is coming up.
Nobody.
He's the only fat rebel pilot. He's the only representation.
Right. Well, listen.
He's the only positive representation of fat people in Star Wars.
Let me tell you. First of all, Jabba. Second of all,
positive representation. He's a bad guy.
Doesn't matter if he's a bad guy. He's in the movie way more than fucking Jack Porkins.
Fair point.
Anyway, point is that don't get me wrong. I feel for you. You need more fat people in movies, like we need more Asians in movies, right?
Sure.
But nobody cares about Jack Porkins. Nobody cares about.
No one does.
No one cares.
No one does.
They did find the one fat person in Fallout. Did you see that? He's in the vault.
No.
And some people's already like, I found him. And it was this bigger guy in the vault. He's a maintenance worker. In a vault suit. It's the only one.
I think that's it, isn't it?
That's about all we got, really.
All we got. Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming out. If you like us, subscribe, leave a comment. Yes, or thumbs up or thumbs down. Either way, doesn't matter as long as you watch it.
Something.
Yeah. So check us out at Facebook, Random Subject Generator. Check us out at Twitter at RSG Podcast, and on the internet at rsgpodcast.com.
Yes.
So thanks for coming out.
Peace.
I'm gonna write a review on the thing for Mockingjay Part 2.
Okay.
And Bone Tomahawk.
Bone Tomahawk?
Bone Tomahawk sounds
awesome. We really need to sit down and watch
we can't
Tokyo
even watch
Trash.
Trash.
Like,
Yeah.
we
I'll
really
do that
need
this
to
weekend sometime or whatever. Just
Yeah.
plug in the laptop and watch it on the Amazon, because you can order on Amazon.